January 8th, 2020, first meeting of the new year. We'll go ahead and take a moment to stand, rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. On to tonight's agenda. Everybody had a chance to take a look at it?
Yes.
All right. Any comments, any changes?
I'll make a motion to approve the
I
agenda.
have a motion by Dan to approve.
Second.
I got a second by Troy. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion, our agenda is approved. On to tonight's consent agenda. Any questions?
No.
Motion to pass the consent agenda.
All right, I have a motion to pass the consent agenda by Pat.
Second.
I have a second by Dan. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, on to Meeker County Trails.
Good afternoon, Mr.
Should be
need it
on.
on?
Yeah, I think it's on.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. My name is Mark Vaillancourt, and I have the pleasure of serving as the chair of this newly organized group called Friends of Meeker Trails. The group was started in late May of 2019 following the adoption of a 90-page Meeker County Trails and Bicycle Routes vision document. I did not print those pages for you. We're trying to save the environment. But what I did give you as part of your packet is the executive summary, which outlines most of the items in that plan and some of the vision and some of the ideas when it comes to trails and bicycle routes in Meeker County. When you take a look at the county and you look at the surrounding areas, right in your part of the county here in the northern part and to the west, there's some infrastructure that already exists around Lake Coronis. When you go south of Meeker County, there's a loose line trail that connects to Hutchinson and McLeod, and then ultimately all the way into the cities in the Three Rivers District. To the east, in Dassel, Cokato, there's a trail that connects those two communities, and then there's some conversations on how we bring that to central Meeker County. And then to the north of us here, if you go up a little bit, you'll connect to the Lake Wobegon Trail System, and that takes you all over. The document that was created and approved by the Meeker Council, the Meeker County Board, really talks about a vision about how we can create and expand when the time comes and when the opportunities present themselves. We can create trails and bicycle routes. Some of them are off-road trails. Some of them are, the idea is to just alongside existing highways. Our purpose as a group is really to advocate for that. We want this document to not be a document that ends up on a bookshelf somewhere and is never looked at. So we as a group have been going to every community in Meeker County to do a couple things. One is we hope that you as a council will take a few minutes and we'll look at that, and Janice sits on that committee with us, and you'll look at this Meeker County Trail Plans and you will introduce a resolution in support of that document. The resolution doesn't say that you're going to spend money on doing something. It just says that you're aware that the document exists, and as you do in your community, develop and make updates to your community, and there's an opportunity to consider adding a trail or expanding and putting in infrastructure, you'll go back to this plan and you'll look and see where and how it connects to. The other thing we want you to do is we want you to support your Safe Routes to School plan. That is another key component in connecting our communities together and creating these opportunities for active lifestyle. And then thirdly, at some point in the near future, our hope as the Friends of Meeker Trails is that we will be able to create not only a county-wide, but each community will join us in creating an active living transportation plan so that we can use all of those plans as the cornerstone to help us apply for various grants and funding through the state, through the Legacy Fund, whatever that may be. Those documents, whether it's the Meeker Trail Plan, whether it's your community's Safe Routes to School Plan, whether it's your community's Active Transportation Plan, those are all documents that are important when one looks to seek some funding. And as a committee and as a group, we want to advocate for active lifestyle in all of our communities in Meeker County. We want to make sure that all of our communities adopt a resolution to support this plan. And when the time comes, this is not a plan about tomorrow, this is over the next decade. I mean, some of these ideas here are not going to be executed in a year or 2 or 3. It's really a vision. But we have trail and bicycle route infrastructures around Meeker County and in the adjoining counties. And our goal is, we want to be able to have people come through Meeker County. We want them to come to Eden Valley. We want them to go to, to Watkins on their way, to another part of the area and the region. And finally, for us, it's about getting people aware that there's an opportunity out there. And as a group, we will be advocates for you. So when Eden Valley is doing something that relates to trails and bicycle routes, and you need us to support and be an advocate for you, we will come alongside with you. And we hope that you'll do the same when other communities in the county are looking to secure some funding, and you'll be an advocate for them. So we're all about collaboration. We believe that having trails and bicycle routes in our county is an important part of creating an active community. And we want to do it countywide, but some of it will start locally, and that's where you come in. So we're not asking you for money. We're not asking you to change your plans. We're asking you to adopt a resolution that will support this Meeker County Trails. When you have an opportunity, that you'll execute the components of your safe route to school, because those are part of, again, allowing the youngest members of our community a safe way to get to school, but more importantly, also to encourage community members to walk and bike and do what they need to do. And then when the time comes, and we hope that that's in the next 12 to 18 months, that you will join other communities in Meeker County and help us design and create a countywide active transportation plan so that we can then go after some various funding sources, including transportation alternative funding, legacy funding, and all those things, to begin the process of adding to the infrastructure that we have here in Meeker County. I have a couple of other colleagues here. Greg Langwell is on the committee here with me, but I'll let you have a few words to say, and then we'll take some questions.
Very, very briefly, I would just like to point out, we've got this overlay on 22 South. And I work up in this area south of town, and there's quite a few people that I run into walking out there, and I stopped them and they said, how come this blacktop shoulder isn't getting redone? Mark lives on 22 South out by Minibel, and the problem and why we need your support and your long-term planning is they're now doing stuff in 2024, the state is. And we just met with them a few days ago, and they said, look, you've got to get your communities and these safe routes to school and active lifestyle, quote, designations, so that when they do a project like that, we can say, well, can you put a 2-foot shoulder on it? If you're rebuilding a road to Watkins, and if they adopt the plan and everybody knows that we're on it when there is an opportunity, the state has dollars that are going to be spent for non-motorized vehicle transportation. And we believe it's time that some of those dollars end up here in Meeker County. So appreciate your support, and thank you. We're happy to stand for any questions you might have.
Sure. All right. Well, I think the one thing is too, it's a 20-year plan. This isn't going to happen overnight. It's just like us planning the Fredericks Park. That took over 20 years to get that going. But I think we need to have our ducks in a row, so when funding is available, that all these plans are in the row, are right in a row, and same way with Safe Way to Schools, that all of this ties together, and we work as a county and a group.
What kind of timeline are you looking at to get, like these resolutions from the Meeker County?
The committee right now is going around to every community in Meeker County. We've done a few before the calendar turned over, and you're the first, group. We've got 2 or 3 more to do here. We hope that sometime in the first 2 quarters of 2020 that every community will just have a resolution that adopts the Meeker County Trail Plan. Part of it is we want people to know that that plan now exists, that there was some time and some money invested in looking at what the vision could be and some of the options. It doesn't mean that what's in the plan is exactly how it's going to play out, but it gives us some ideas and some, well, you know, you can do this, and this may be an opportunity. The point is that any source of funding, and you know this as a community, anytime you want to do something, there's a series of documents and steps you have to take in order to demonstrate that you've actually done more than just, oh, we'd like to have some money for this. You know, you have to, and sometimes that stuff, this is a cornerstone piece of that. Your Safe Routes to School plan, your city transportation plan they're all pieces of that puzzle that will allow us. Just recently, as a matter of fact, last week, the city of Litchfield, and as the Friends of Meeker Plan, we were able to write a letter in support of that. They were requesting some TAP funding for a project that won't hit Litchfield until 2024 or 2025. But we wrote a letter of support because what their vision for that project aligns with the vision in the county plan, but also in Litchfield's Safe Routes to School plan. Those two documents, cornerstone pieces of the funding that they're applying for. So, you know, the resolution is there, and we want your city, you as a city council, but more importantly, your city staff to know that when you're planning an upgrade on, and I'm sorry, I don't know all the names of your roads and streets in your community, but you're planning an upgrade to the road A, you know, and there's an opportunity to put a wider sidewalk, or if it's in line with your Safe Routes to School place and it connects and allows people to move, you know, into different parts of your community without getting in a car, well, we want you to look at this. Is there something in that plan that says, a vision document that says, okay, well, you can do this, and that ultimately can help us connect to this other thing, and, you know, we're not going to be able to, you know, in a perfect world, if we had $100 or $200 million, we could say, we're going to make a trail, and it's going to go from A to B to C to D, and we're all getting it done in one summer, right? Well, that doesn't happen. But we can start beginning to put together the pieces of the puzzle. And Meeker County is a beautiful county. I mean, Greg and I are both cyclists. In the last 3 years alone, I've cycled over 6,000 miles in Meeker County alone. We have some beautiful roads and some beautiful scenery. This is a place where people will love to come. And if they come to your community, what are they doing? They're going to hang out, they're going to go to the restaurant, they're going to spend some time in your parks. Well, we got to get them to your parks. We got to get them to there safely. So, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. All right, anything else on that subject? Okay. Go ahead and move on to 2020 appointments and salaries. So every year, first meeting of the year, we go through and make sure that all the appointments for commissioners and the boards and all that. And for 2020, for the appointments I have here listing, have Acting Mayor Dan Thielen, Street Commissioner Pat Becker, Police Commissioner Dan Thielen, Fire Commissioner Jan Sheets, and Water Sewer Commissioner Troy Hushley. For our board representatives on the EDA, it'd be myself and Dan Thielen. Park Board, we have Dan Thielen and Jan Sheets. Planning Commission ex officio would be myself and one other council member. And then the Joint Water Board, Water and Sewer Commissioner Troy Hushley. For our city attorney, we have Adam Ripple from Rinke Noonan Law Firm. Our city engineering is Kent Luaji from Bolton Mink. Official newspaper is the Eden Valley Watkins Voice. Our official depository is Farmers and Merchants Bank of Eden Valley. But we do carry the provision that the city reserves the right to seek best interest on our investments. The tree and weed inspector is myself, which I do delegate to our public works director, currently Jim Rademacher, and Zachary Blonigan. Emergency management director will be, for now, Jim Rademacher. Authorized signatories on the checks for all city accounts be Cindy Anderson, Darla Kurzman, myself, and Dan Thielen. Salaries we have as election judges are $15 an hour. Mileage will be at the approved IRS reimbursement rate. And then meetings are official daytime meeting reimbursement, $40 half day, $80 full day. That's defined as any meeting that lasts more than 5 hours. A official evening or special meeting reimbursement is $30. Planning and Zoning Commission members is $30 for a meeting. EDA board is $30 a meeting. Park board is also $30 a meeting. Anybody have any questions, edits? All right, with that, hearing that, I will go ahead and make the motion to approve the 2020 appointments and salaries as written.
I'll second.
I have a second by Troy. Any further discussion? All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Okay. On to 2020 council and board meeting schedules. So for city council, we only have 2 days, how do I word this so I don't have to read every single date here? Our normal meetings are going to be first Wednesday of the month beginning at 7 o'clock, unless otherwise noted. Workshops are scheduled for the 3rd Wednesday of the month at 7 o'clock. The only exception to that rule is on April 8th. We will have our April meeting at that date for local board of appeals. And 7 o'clock is the Stearns County and Meeker County will be scheduled right around that time too.
They just called today.
Okay.
So 7:30 for me.
Okay. And then on November 10th, since we are in an election year, we'll be moving that meeting, the November meeting to that date, so that way we can canvass the election results.
And that's a
And-
Tuesday,
and that is a-
because the Veterans Day is Wednesday, and Thursday would be, but it's too late for canvassing the results, so.
Yeah. So that'll be the only, that'll actually be the only meeting that's not going to be on Wednesday this month. And then, the council deems that, we can change the dates as we deem necessary. City Hall closure dates, standard, pretty much we follow state and federal holiday guidelines. So I won't read all those. Planning and zoning, meetings are held 4th Wednesday of the month at 7 o'clock unless otherwise noted. Looks like the only 2 dates that would be different at this point would be November 18th and December 16th, which will be held at 6 o'clock instead of 7. Our EDA meetings are held quarterly, the 4th Monday of the month. All those dates stand, so January 27th will be our first EDA meeting of the year. And since this is an election year, due to changes in state law, we do have 3 elections that we're holding this year. March 3rd will be the presidential primary. August 11th will be our normal primary, and then November 3rd will be the general election. Okay. Any comments, edits? All right. And I will go ahead and make a motion to accept 2020 council board meeting schedules, city hall closure dates as written.
Second.
Pat with a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. On to boards and commission reports. So, for the EDA, we have a meeting scheduled on January 27th, and the EDA board is extending the invitation to council. We're actually going to have a gentleman, Jeff Gladys, will be at that meeting. He's from UCAP, formerly known as like Southwest Foundation. Well, they've gone by a few different acronyms over the years. And he was going to come and talk to us about the community development grants that are available through the state of Minnesota. We'd actually like to start the process of applying for those grants. Those grants are used for well, there's 2 parts of the grant. There's a commercial business side of it, and there's a residential side of it. The residential side of it would be, monies that are loan, low interest loans or forgivable loans given out to residents of Eden Valley, where they can fix their windows, shingle their roof, put in a new HVAC system in their house. And then on the business side, same thing, low interest, forgivable loan for building maintenance, building improvements also. It's a multi-step process to apply for this, and Jeff Gladys will explain that to us, and so that way we can formulate a plan of action and move forward to getting that, applying for that grant.
What time's that meeting?
It's at 7 o'clock. All right. Any questions? All right, on to planning and zoning and rental. Mr. Darren Honda.
Good evening. For planning, we did not have any applications or site permits. We did have a meeting. We are currently in the process of updating the comprehensive plan. It's pretty outdated, so. Rental, there's 3 units that are past due for inspection. I sent 300 Douglas Drive a second letter, last chance to get inspections done. He did pay for the fees, but has not got it inspected and has not followed up with me. So I'm looking for permission to turn that over to the city attorney.
Yeah,
Comments? Yep.
That's
definitely.
a procedure, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
All right, 413 White Avenue, I'm going to send that last chance letter here early next week. And then 381 Brook Street, that's the one that was in foreclosure. I have not heard anything that it is not, the process is finished yet or anything like that, so according to the county, the owner still owns it, so I'm assuming that the foreclosure process is still going forward.
Okay. And you're gonna send another, that last chance letter to the current owner of 381 Brook Street?
When it first was brought up, I don't know if we decided or not, but I guess we talked about maybe not even bothering because why would they
that's
want to
right.
do it? They're not going to pay for it. They're not going to, if they're going to lose it anyway, why pay for it?
Is there somebody currently living on that property?
Yeah, it's at 8plex.
Is that, oh, okay, now I know which one.
Just a sec.
Okay.
To you.
Sorry about that.
So we can send them a letter, but I don't think anything's going to happen.
Thoughts on council? We just let it ride out?
Let
And
that
then-
go, I think, yeah.
Once it's, I assume either the county or the bank will, it's in foreclosure, right?
That's
So it would
that's
be,
what I understand, yep.
so probably the the lender will take,
Take it over and then
Take
sell
it
it.
over.
Yeah. It actually looks like it was for a contract for deed, so it'll go back to the previous owner, I'm
Previous.
guessing.
okay.
But I'll keep an eye on it and see if I can notice or catch when it transfers over or transfers
And
back.
Then we'll probably want to reach out to whoever takes over the property and
Yep,
start working with them.
correct.
Okay.
5 inspections were completed. All of them had minor issues, so I'll have a second inspection on all of those. And then for December inspections, there are 4 units that have been sold, or one of them, the owner lives in there, and then 2 of them, it's empty and they plan on selling.
Okay.
Just make sure we keep an eye on those 2 that are supposedly nobody living in.
Correct, yep.
Being sold.
Yep, I was going to drive by there a couple times, make sure it is empty. All right, that's all I have, unless you guys have any questions on anything?
I have no questions.
You said that you guys have been meeting about updating the comprehensive plan.
Correct.
Do you have a timeline and when you'd be presenting that?
No, we got through the easy part last meeting, and everything from that point forward is gonna be a lot more work.
Okay.
So we haven't really set up a time frame. We're just kind of going as we have time and get through it.
Okay, all right. All right, that's all I had. Thanks, Darren.
Thank you.
All right, and then on to parks. Anybody want to do a quick?
I think we got a meeting planned for the 14th of January, and what we're gonna do there is put together a plan for 2020 on how we're gonna attack the next phase of Fredericks Park, and how we're gonna finish up the things that were not complete in 2019, and then plan ahead for 2020. I think we're gonna look at some grants also, things like that, so.
I think there's a grant that's due at the end of the month, is it not?
Correct.
I think
That's
so,
what
yeah.
we're gonna work on.
Is that the DNR one?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That's all I have on that.
All right. Anybody have any other things to share on that? Okay. All right, then we'll go ahead and we'll move on to the public forum. I do, if I was informed correctly, we do have somebody in the audience, in the gallery that would like to present something.
Steve Schmidt, Meeker County Commissioner. I just wanted to bring before the city here, the 2020 census is coming up. There'll be some mailings coming out starting first part of March. The dates for the mailings, initial mailings are March 12th to the 20th. So if you watch for the mailings, all the residents watch for the mailings, there'll be instructions in there how they can do the census online. Or then later in March, they'll send out a reminder letter, and then towards the beginning of April, there'll be another reminder postcard, and a second and a follow-up again and later in April, and after, towards the end of April, they'll come out in person or they'll call you. The county would like to have you set up or have access maybe like the library or something like that for some older folks so they could come in and maybe get a little guidance or help doing it online. It's really pretty simple to do, but the participation is very important because this is how, whether you like a census or not, this is how your funding flows through to your communities and to your local governments. So the more accurate you are, the more access you have to assistance funds for any type of project you do within your community. So getting the census accurately done is important, and so we just kind of want to get the word out and make people aware that it's coming, and that if you watch for it, and I know I talked to Cindy and between Bar Block, County Otter, and the local communities are going to try and have some assistance for the elderly and guidance or a place to stop where people can ask some questions. So that's really all I got. I just wanted to make that aware that that's coming and let the public know to watch for it in their mail.
Okay. Did Meeker County set up a complete count, what do they call it, complete count committee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And your city clerk is on it,
Okay.
and myself. That's why I'm here.
That's why you're here.
So and that's really what, basically making that presence known that it's coming.
Yeah.
And getting the word out to the public. Cindy gave me some flyers here. I imagine you maybe have some more of these, or and
And it went out in our newsletter that just went out last week, some information on it.
yeah. So we're trying to get out. Maybe put some of these up at the post office in different areas around town. I think they want to talk to the schools, see if they can get some things put out in the newsletters with kids going home and stuff, just to make sure people are aware, and not to just throw that card away when it comes in the mail and try and participate, because it is how the funding works. So it is important. So
Have you talked to the library at all?
I have not. We just had a meeting on
Okay.
Monday, so I haven't had a chance to get
I'm sure they will, but I would think they need some kind of guidance
Do we have
on how to do it.
Do we have a point of contact there, Janice?
Helen Grovey?
Oh, I thought maybe you.
Well. Me. Yeah.
No, that's all right. I appreciate that, and I'll reach out to them. I just I got my list, and the school and the library was on that list. I just haven't gotten there yet this week, so. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
let us know if you need anything else.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. All right, and then, is there anybody else in the,
I don't know if we were supposed to be part of the first thing on the agenda with Meeker Trails or not.
oh, okay, fine.
We're,
Come on up.
I'm Matt Johnson with the Mid-Minnesota Development Commission. I authored Eden Valley Watkins Safe Routes to School Plan, and I also authored Meeker County Trails Plan. So there's a couple of things. As I look at the Safe Routes to School Plan, we never really got full buy-in. I gave a presentation when it was all over at the 11th hour when the school board was looking at adopting that. But really, it's a plan for the city, and we did have city members participate on the Safe Routes to School Plan. The reason I'm here is because I want to put you in a good position to get some of these transportation alternative grant funds. As you take a look at your two schools in the city here, there's really no safe way for those students to get between the two schools. And the Safe Routes to School Plan does identify a number of infrastructure improvements, from simple things like painting the stencils on the road and say share the road for the bicycle routes that you can easily identify throughout your community. It also talks about making a commitment to make sure your crosswalks, I think they're in great shape, but just making sure that that's a commitment for the safety of people that are using them. And somehow, there's two alternatives on the implementation map on enhancing Meeker Stearns Road so that sidewalks are either, you can almost land an airplane on that road, so there is room to shift the driving traffic if you want to put a trail even on the existing roadway. That's one option, but I'm here to try to put you in a good position. I took a look at your sidewalk map in your comp plan, and as he said, it's quite old. And so Kyle from the Mid-Minnesota Development Commission, he took and went ahead and made a new sidewalk map for you, and that's what we just passed out. I would like to engage the city into doing a very quick and easy sidewalk, pedestrian, and trails plan, where if you bring it to the Planning Commission, we can take a look at this map, we can add some bicycle sharrows, we can talk about the Safe Routes to School project, and then when he brings the full plan for you as a draft, you can just simply adopt that as part of it. We're not looking to charge any money. In my 22 years at Mid-Minnesota Development Commission, I've never come to a city and said, I'll do this for free for you. But I'm kind of a little bit fed up with doing projects like this that just go nowhere and collect dust. And so unless we put you in a better position to get those grant funds, I mean, there's money on the table. Those transportation alternative funds are no match for the city. And I just felt like this year wasn't the right year to apply for you. They're 4 years out, and you usually have to get kind of in a pecking order. So the first time you put in an application, most likely that you'll get denied, because there's other projects that applied the year before and got denied. They were told to go back to the drawing board, make some revisions, and they did those improvements. And so it's a little bit of a game, but there's a lot of money on the table from the legacy funds, from trails, and all we're trying to do here is simply just take a look at your sidewalk, pedestrian, and trail component of your comp plan. We can just update that map for you, continuation of the map I passed out, and you can have the Planning Commission make some decisions on new sidewalks, or these would be trail routes, or whatever it is. And when I say trail, I don't mean it has to be the 10-foot off-road, expensive, who maintains it type trail. You could do a bike sharrow on Highway 22 right now. Seriously, you can land an airplane on that road as well if you just stripe it. Put up the signs that say bicycle route, share the road, and put the little stencils that you can see like in the city of Litchfield all over the place. But that needs to be, that needs to come from your residents and from the city here in order to get that passed in your comp plan. So the only, I offer this to you as a service through the Mid-Minnesota Development Commission. But on our end, it has to be quick and easy. If it's gonna be drawn out over a year and a half, the planning process and 12 meetings, then we're gonna regret offering it for free. If we can meet with the planning commission, get them started, have them do their homework, maybe come back to them, facilitate a community-wide meeting type thing to talk about what the draft is, you guys would be good to go. You'd be in a great spot to get grant funds.
Okay.
But it would take city council to say, yes, let's do this, and we'll walk you through it.
Yeah, and yeah, just so you know, and people that are watching the meeting, that we have been talking with with Mark Messman over at the school, and we've been trading ideas back and forth, and you know, I've seen the maps already, and I mean, they look good. We've offered up a few amendments to improve it, so, and he was gonna take that back to his group, and
So it'd be engaging the planning commission, getting the city engineer to sit down and just try to make some decisions. I don't look at this as being a very complicated thing. Bike sharrows are really easy. It's seriously a sign or two and some paint on the road. And deciding which sidewalks you want to keep long-term. There might be a few areas where you say there's going to be a new sidewalk. Typically, cities don't do that anymore because people don't want to pay for their share of that. But if the city looks at it as it's a city need for that short segment of the sidewalk, then I'd ask you to rope that into the grant funds.
okay.
Okay, Matt, so now this here is different than the active living transportation
Right.
plan.
Yep, the Active Living Transportation Plan is going to go through 6 items for the city. It's an education component, encouragement component. This is simply just taking your, I think it's figure 6 out of your current comp plan, which is your sidewalk map, and turning it into a sidewalk, pedestrian, and trail map. It's perfect timing that the Planning Commission's looking at updating the comp plan. And so we're just taking a look at that part. If we were gonna look at all 6 of the issues that are involved with active living, it would be a long process. But the nice thing about what we're offering here is that it will be a plan of your own that you can rope into your comp plan. It will lay the foundation for future active living transportation planning, which is a lot wider topic. But by making this amendment to your comp plan, it would put you in a great spot to get some transportation alternatives funding. And you desperately need to do something between your 2 schools. Everyone knows that, but you're not going to want to pay for that on your own. If you can get some funding, great.
Okay, all right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, yep.
If I could I just want to add a little bit to what Matt said and kind of reiterate what Mark and Greg said earlier too. And I think you're starting to see the formulation here, that when you have Matt working on it, the school's on board, the city's on board, the county's on board, and we can get these plans all overlaid, then it becomes more of a when the funding will come and at how big increments as to where you're just if and how. So I just, yeah, if we can continue to work together to put good plans in place and reach out to Matt and utilize some of our partners in this, it becomes more of a when rather than how, so.
Okay. All right, well, thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
All right. And on to, give it a second here. Okay. All right, on to tonight's bills. Anybody had any questions? I didn't see one.
There's a
here.
table one.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay, all right. Anybody have any questions on
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
All right, I have a motion to pay the bills by Dan.
Second. Jan.
I'll give it to Jan. All right, I got a second by Jan. Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, on to on to the fire department.
Chad Keekly, Eden Valley Fire Chief. Fourth quarter, we had a total of 11 fire calls. One in Luxembourg Township, 3 in Manana, and 4 in the city of Eden Valley. We had 2 mutual aids, one to Watkins and one to Paynesville. And we received 1 mutual aid for a fire we had. We had a total of 198 man-hours in the fourth quarter. Couple things on the fire department. We had a meeting Monday night, and with our donations from the Halloween mailing, we made a motion to put $12,500 into that equipment fund upon Rescue's approval at their meeting. We had elections. Howard Colbert stepped down as lieutenant, and Scott Thielen was elected to be our new lieutenant. Everything else stayed the same. As you know, we got the new extrication tools back in November-ish, October-ish. We have the old extrication tools yet. It's been brought to our attention that the city of Grove City does not have any, or lack thereof. And they don't have no funding to get any. So we were wondering if we could sell or give that to them, donate that to them. It's just sitting in our hall and not gonna get used.
Any idea what
And we
it's
have
worth?
no idea what it's worth.
Is there an easy way to potentially figure out how much that would actually be worth, or?
It's about 25 years old.
Right. I mean,
30
it's,
maybe.
So it might not have much, if any, value at all.
right.
Can't we just
Gift
donate
it.
it?
Gift it to 'em.
them?
That's what we were thinking of doing. I mean, that if, upon your guys' approval, but, you know,
Yeah,
something's better than nothing for them, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if there's no value, I mean.
You're not
and
gonna
it-
get anything for it. You try to sell it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, might as well give it to a fire department that will make use of it. So,
100%.
Yeah.
all right, and just to make it official, I'll go ahead and put on the table a motion to allow the fire department to donate the donate the old extraction?
Extrication, yeah.
Extrication tools to the city of Grove City.
Yep.
A second.
Jan got it.
All right, so I have a second by Jan. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
That's all I have unless you guys got questions.
I got anything for Chad? All right.
You were talking about selling the tanker, or changing out the tanker one time. Is that in the works yet, or?
Tanker or pumper?
Well, you can sell the pumper, but.
Sell the pumper, yeah, I talked to Cindy this week
Yeah.
about that. I'm gonna try to get things together for her to put it on the League of Minnesota Cities or whatever that website is. Tanker, we kind of discussed over the last couple of years, you know, we've been telling the townships that, you know, it's coming in the near future. I think we figured out that our 2 loans are due, like, was it 2022 and 23 or 23 and 24? So we're kind of thinking, let's just hold off till then, till one of them are paid for at least, and then we'll pursue that more.
All right. Anything else for Chad?
No.
All right. Thanks, Chad. Keep up the good work.
Have a good night.
Okay, on to rescue.
Good evening, Pam Haig, Rescue Chief. We had a total of 149 calls this year, 114 medicals, 7 motor vehicle accidents, 2 weather watches, and assisted fire calls 26. We do have 20 members right now. After February, there will be 1 leaving, I guess. So we will have 19. We do have the Lucas in service. We put it in service December 16th. And we invite you guys February 1st to our appreciation supper. 6 o'clock social hour, 7 o'clock eating. It will be steak, smoked pork chops, chicken with all the fixings.
Okay.
Have any questions?
I think most of us knows what the Lucas is. You wanna
Yep.
explain that a little bit? Explain that?
The Lucas is the machine that will do the compressions for CPR. Do you want us to bring it in to show you?
I don't know if we need to have you bring it in. I think it's just for people that are watching the meeting, if they,
I
they
have some
know.
pictures on my phone if you wanted to see it,
That's fine.
but
It assists you when you're doing CPR.
it assists us when we're doing CPR.
Yeah, so if I remember correctly from when you guys were telling me about it, it's an apparatus that they strap onto your chest and will continue doing the chest compressions, instead of somebody doing it manually, if I recall that correctly.
Yes,
Okay.
yep.
And survival rate way higher than that, or quite a bit higher with that machine? I
Yeah,
understand.
yeah.
It is much better, so
That is the machine they used on Tom Geislinger when he went down at that auction. That is what they used.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. Okay, all right. Anybody else have anything for Pam? All right.
They almost have their SOGs finished, so.
Oh, that's right.
Pam gave me the copy and just a few tweaks and then we'll go from there.
Sounds good. Perfect. Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, on to clerk treasurer.
End of the year is a busy time for us. Prepping for the audit, this year is February 18th, so we've already started doing all of our year-end reports and are sending those off to the auditor. And that's pretty much my life, is audit and construction. So look at the outside of the building and the daylight looks nice. And they're almost done with the inside of my office or by Darla's office. And
I
that's
really
what
like,
we're
I
doing.
really like the glass in front now. I just think it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's it's just getting used to it, starting to hear people, but I don't want anything to happen to her, so. It serves a purpose, sometimes we laugh at it, but, there's some angry people who come in and want to chat with us, so.
No, I think the improvements there
Yeah.
look really nice.
Nice.
Turned out really good.
Good luck. Otherwise, I don't really have anything else if you have no questions for me.
Anything for Cindy?
No, we got the newsletter, that was pretty nice.
What?
Newsletter in the mailing for,
Oh, very good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that did turn out really nice. Now, you put the water bill in that and printed it out differently too.
We did.
Is that just for the newsletter or?
It was to
Okay.
save postage, so we could do a mailing all together.
Okay.
So for those who think it's gonna be a paper, it'll go back to the cards. But we thought we'd just try it this way
And
and,
so people, that are used to getting the cards, they'll get a
Yes.
letter from the city that has the newsletter, but will also have their water and sewer bill in there too.
yeah, next time we might mail a card with it rather than a paper, but, yeah.
Did,
Okay.
did you mail out ones to the ones that are
The
direct
email?
pay? Yeah?
Yep.
Or it's on the email?
No, we mailed, Darla just did on Monday, mailed to all the people who get their bills emailed to them. Yep.
how
I'll
often
keep
plan on
looking
doing
for
the
it.
newsletter?
Well, our plan is 3 times a year.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the plan.
All right. Anything else? Okay, all right, on to Ernie.
Well, I haven't seen some of you, but Happy New Year. I know we're a little late on that. Took a little bit of vacation to burn through the new year, so truthfully, I'm happy to be back to work. I'm not gonna lie, I was bored out of my mind. All the lakes are bad, can't go fishing, but here we are. So happy New Year to you guys. We got the end of year reports. Pretty much par, you know, when we go through this year to year, I mean, nothing. I think we're up, well, about 22 calls for the year or whatever, so. Any questions on that? We can look it over. We did, over Christmas, we did Shop with the Cop. We participated with that with Meeker County and Litchfield Police Department again. They really enjoyed it. All three officers participated, myself, Officer Paterka, and Officer Mullen. We really enjoyed that. We always deal with the local kids. We get our local kids to get to go, so it's a lot of fun for us. I think the kids enjoyed it too. I think we did make the paper. Seen part of it, but it was good. And then I have not received a bill date on the new squad yet, so if anybody's gonna ask that question, I have no idea.
Beat me to it.
I've not got an email on a bill date or anything on it, so, you know, like I say, Chevy was on strike, so who knows? I don't have an answer. But when I do, I'll let you know. Other than that, I don't have anything.
So what are they doing about the body cams? Have we just kind of put that on hold?
Until they get figured out on the biannual audits, so the city don't have to put out a bunch of money, and the chiefs are still working on that, they get it where it's affordable. I'm not sure what affordable is. I mean, they were, you know, $8,000 to $10,000 for an audit, which is out of our price range. And there's a lot of people put them on the shelf. I mean, most people are just going to MVRs. A lot of small departments are using body cams. It's just very expensive. The other side of that is storage. The storage side is expensive too. So once they get it figured out in the audits where they're affordable for the cities, you know, I'm not sure what that's gonna be. I think there's a lady doing them now, I think about $2,500 to $3,000 she'll do them, but I still think that's pretty high, you know, but.
That's every other year kind of thing?
Yeah, it's biannual, yeah. But it's a great tool, you know, it's too bad they're a great tool.
And there's still some stuff that the state is gonna need to figure out too, right?
Yeah, they're still talking about it. I mean, it's, you know, chiefs are talking about, you know, there's a lot of departments in Minnesota that aren't using them, more than you would think that are using them. There's a lot of places that don't use body cams, they use MVRs and, you know, still do it that way, but they're a great tool if you can afford them. Like Minneapolis, St. Paul, out there, you know, they got a few, but when you think about a department of that size, it's gotta go through, you know, and they're not cheap either. You guys know that, we went through the process. So, it's kind of where we're at.
Okay. And then, I don't know if I talk to you about this, or I'll just bring it up now since it is kind of it is not okay to run snowmobiles, ATVs, motorcycles down city sidewalks, am I correct?
That would be correct.
All right. All right, and it's just, yeah, again, you know, I know that, you know, the sidewalks are appealing for riding snowmobiles down that, because sometimes they're not, you know, they're not fully cleared. They might have a little bit of snowpack snow on them, so they're a little less wear and tear on that. But once those skids, you know, once the skis, I should say, get onto the concrete, it just it chews that concrete up, you know. So we will start keeping our eye out on that, and if we catch people doing that, we'll forward that on to you, Ernie.
Well, we always have an issue with snowmobiles, depends on the amount of snow we get, but that's, you know, I've been here a long time, and it seems like it depends on how much snowfall we get, it's been an issue. You know, not only that, if you get fresh snow and then they hit the sidewalks, they hard pack it.
Yeah.
It makes it really hard to shovel, snowboard, or anything with it, so, yeah, stay off the sidewalks, that'd be real nice. You can ride on the shoulders, that's legal, I mean, come in on the shoulders, that's what they're for, so.
All right.
I guess as long as we're talking about sidewalks and snowmobiles, I did notice in the newsletter that we have something in there for cleaning off your sidewalks. There are a lot of sidewalks that are not clean. And I don't know if we're going to address it or what we're gonna do, but our letters are gonna go out to owners that have sidewalks, but,
Because that is in our city ordinances, if I recall
it is.
correctly.
And if you recall back when we were looking at that, I said either we enforce it or take it out. We decided to enforce it, so I think we need to start enforcing.
And I think that's.
It's
yeah,
been a while since the last snowfall, I think they should be cleaned.
In the past, we've had elderly people, no excuse, but they always did keep it clean, but if a snowmobile beats them to it, they can't get it off because
Right.
they struggle.
Yeah.
Well, the last time we got we got that heavy stuff with the rain on top and then it froze, which made a real mess out of everything. Obviously, we can see that everywhere. So it makes it a little tough when that stuff's frozen solid too, so.
Yeah, but I know that there's sidewalks that have yet to be cleared.
Absolutely.
This season.
If I look at this map, and if the red truly indicates where all the sidewalks are, I can walk outside and point out one sidewalk that hasn't even been touched.
Yeah. Yeah, so, friendly reminder to everybody, clean your sidewalks off, please.
People do use them.
And people do, yeah. Even in the middle of winter, and we've got walkers, I know of a few walkers that get out early in the morning. They're out there walking, walking around, getting their exercise in, so. All right. Anything else for Ernie? Okay. On to Public Works.
I'd like you guys to welcome your new Public Works Director, Zach Flanagan is here tonight. He started Monday. Been
Well-
keeping him very busy.
Welcome to town. Well, welcome to
He's
the.
gonna be a great asset.
Officially.
to the city.
Officially, yeah.
He really will be a great asset to the city. He's pretty much hit the ground running here because of the end of year paperwork and actually is not seeing all the buildings yet in town. Just
You haven't
going
given him
through-
the grand tour yet?
With Cindy and myself, we're, just getting him up to par with everything. But he'll be fine. Signed Mark and Zach up for the 3-day St. Cloud Conference that goes on every year. That is March, first week in March. They're signed up today, and Zach will be taking his wastewater license, going for that that week as well. His test, I should say. Hopefully, if weather permits us tomorrow, we're gonna take Christmas lights down. It is the end of that season, so. And FYI, on those papers that I handed out with it's their precipitation and water that we've flowed through the city that came and left. And if you look at the effluent and irrigation, that is the second highest in my time so you knew it was a wet year, all in all. If you convert the snow and the rain, we had about 48, just about 49 inches of water last year total. So that's just an FYI for you. So what went through, what came and gone. And the ponds so far look very good, but that can change. Otherwise, unless you got something for me.
Well, again, welcome. Nice to meet all of you. We'll put you in the hot seat here soon. All right, anybody have anything for, we'll keep Troy on a leash for you for a little while.
Right away. Right away.
Right away.
Now you're gonna talk about it.
All right, let's see, on to other, anybody have any council comments?
No, other than, thank you, Jim, for all your service. This will be the last meeting, right?
Nope.
Oh, I got one more meeting.
more, yeah.
I jumped the gun.
Agonize you with one more.
Okay.
Don't kick them out quite
No,
yet.
not yet.
All right, then that will bring us to our next meeting date of February 5th, 2020, 7 o'clock. That'll be considered a regular meeting. And then our workshop meeting, the third Wednesday of the month at 7 o'clock.
Are you doing that workshop meeting?
Oh, you know what? No, we weren't going to do the
Because we're
workshop.
gonna-
Yeah, because we're going to, because of the EDA meeting. Yep. Thanks for correcting me on that. So, all right. With that in mind, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right, motion to adjourn, second?
Second.
Jan with the second. Boy, usually there's a little
Nobody
bit more
wants to leave.
pizzazz with this. All right. All right, have a good night.